Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while, but today's show is going to be an extension of what happened to Black civilization. I don't know how many of you are aware of the Willie Lynch papers, but a few weeks ago I ordered quite a few books and came across it and Amazon. It cost about $4 or $5. Was more like a pamphlet than a book. It's maybe 12, 13 pages long, and it was the Willie Lynch papers, and then the other half was how to make a slave. So I thought it would be cool just to expand and share what information I found out and kind of what I already knew. So who was Willie Lynch? Willie Lynch was a British slaveholder in the West Indies. He was actually he actually traveled to America, I believe by invitation of other slave owners, to find out his method in controlling his slaves. And Willie Lynch just simply told them that the best way to control your slaves was to pit them against each other, create dissension, pit the young against the old, pit the dark against the light. And it worked effectively because even today we are still within our own community fighting colorism. So that was who Willie Lynch was and what the Willie Lynch papers were about. So then the other half of the book was how to make a slave. And how to make a slave was pretty much explaining like how you break a slave. So it compared the slaves actually to like horses and how you break a horse in some examples. But a couple of things that stuck out to me more so were the examples they used of you pick the biggest, strongest, meanest looking man, and you pretty much, it described how you torture him. You have a gathering of people and you want these slaves to see this big, strong looking, intimidating man being shredded, being killed. And that actually will just instill fear. And if you did that to the strongest one, then of course the other ones can't possibly stand up to that. It also described on how you would deal with the female slaves. And it said, you know, of course, the men and women are separated. And it says that you instill this fear in all of the slaves, but particularly the female is going to protect her baby, protect her child. And what she's going to do is she's going to teach the male children how to avoid being killed or tortured by being submissive and just pretty much a survival tactic that was just generational, right? You're not really being taught to be a man. You're really being taught just to be a slave, and that's being ingrained in you by your mother just because your mother wants to protect you. So those were really interesting. I thought it was good to share as a part of the what happened to Black civilization. Also, on top of that, I thought it would be good to introduce the one drop rule, which I think most of us are familiar with, but for those who are younger or may not know what that is, the one drop rule, it was created in America that states that if you have one drop of black blood in you, you are black. And how did that happen? So you have these African slaves coming to America and America's early history, or even before America really existed as a country. So you have Africans coming to this country, and you have these European men. They are having babies with these African women. So what becomes of these babies of these European men and African women? Do you just automatically let these babies become free? Are they automatically granted like their citizenship? Or are they automatically just granted like they're human beings? Well, no, you can't do that, right? Because there was a lot of rape in those days, unfortunately, and a lot of babies were born out of this out of the system of slavery. So what would happen was to enable to create a larger workforce, of course, of free manual labor, instead of maybe adopting like a patriarchal view of you are what your father is. You have that African blood from your mother, therefore you are African, right? You're black and you're automatically a slave. And that works once again well into the colorism effect of African American communities, where some of the blacks would be very light, some of them would be able to pass. That was once a term, passing. If you could pass for white, because of your light skin, your hair texture, it was closer to being European than African. Of course, you're on a elevated status in the African American community. You might be treated a little bit nicer by the white people. You are allowed to work inside of the house, even though you're still a slave. You have quote unquote some benefits of being closer to white. So the one drop rule just was pretty much that. If your great grandparent was black, then just automatically you're black. Like it or not, that's just what it was. I think that though now things are changing where people are just becoming smarter and being I wouldn't say more proud of who they are, but being more accepted of a full range of their heritage. So it's kind of seems like it's kind of falling out of favor where people don't easily want to accept the one drop rule. But that's where that rule comes from. And let me see, what else did I want to go over today? I think that was really it. The Willie Lynch papers, the making of a slave, and the one drop rule. I thought those were all good extensions of what happened to black civilization. So please check me out again. I will be posting again sooner than later. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.